The kingdom Plantae is composed of plants that are autotrophic, multicellular eukaryotes. The cell in this kingdom have cell walls made of cellulose that are used to support the plant and have the ability to grow by cell division. These plants conduct photosynthesis. Their leaves absorb sunlight and convert it to glucose and have waxy coat on them to prevent water loss. These plants also have organs and organ system like chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are organelles that convert light energy into chemical energy where the energy is stored as sugar. Plants reproduce asexually and sexually. Kingdom Plantae is very important as it is the source of food for all other living things. Today there are more than 290,000 known plant species. Plants inhabit all but the harshest environments, such as some mountaintop and desert areas and the polar ice sheets. A few plant species such as seagrasses return to aquatic habitats during their evolution. In this chapter, we will refer to all plants as land plants. Land plants enabled other life forms to survive on land. Plants supply oxygen and ultimately most of the food eaten by the terrestrial animals. Also, plant roots create habitats for other organisms by stabilizing the soil. Land plants evolved from green algae. Green algae called chlorophytes are the closest relatives of the land plants. But many species of chlorophyte algae inhabit shallow waters around the edges of the ponds and lakes, where they are subject to occasional drying. In such environments, natural selection favors individual algae that can survive periods when they are not submerged. The accumulation of such traits by at least one population of chlorophyte ancestors probably enabled their descendants, the first land plants, to live permanently above the waterline. This ability opened a new frontier, a terrestrial habitat that offered enormous benefits. A series of adaptations that facilitate survival and reproduction on dry land emerged after land plants diverged from their alga relatives. 5 such traits that are found in land plants but not in chlorophyte alga. They are walled spores produced in sporangia, multicellular gametangia, dependent embryo, and apical meristem. Plant group can be distinguished based on the presence or absence of an extensive system of vascular tissue. Based on that, there are 2 major groups of plant that can be seen. They are vascular plants and non-vascular plants. Under vascular plants, we have 2 categories. The first one is the vascular seedless plants and the second one is the vascular seed plants. Our question is dealing with vascular seedless plant. So the both Lycophyta and the Pterophyta falls under the vascular seedless plants. Seedless vascular plants lack seeds and disperse by the means of spores. They are categorized into 2 groups. The first one is Lycophytes and the second one is Pterophytes. Even though both Pterophytes and Lycophytes are seedless plants, Pterophytes share a more recent common ancestor with seed plants. Fossils and living seedless vascular plants provide evidence for plant evolution during Devonian and Carboniferous periods. The ancestors of vascular plants already have had some derived traits of modern vascular plants. However, they lack roots and some other adaptations. Fossils suggest that the ancestors of vascular plants had gametophyte and the sporophytes that were about equal in size. However, among the living vascular plants, sporophyte generation is large and more complex. For example, in ferns, leafy plants are the sporophytes. Significant features of the seedless vascular plants are transportation through xylem and phloem, evolution of roots, evolution of leaves, sporophylls and spore variations. Let's talk about phylum Lycophyta. Lycophytes are terrestrial and some are epiphytes. The dominant plant is sporophyte. They produce upright stems and ground-hugging stems. In upright stems, small leaves can be found. Ground-hugging stems produce dichotomously branching roots. and they have strobili, and they are homosporous or heterosporous. All club mosses are homosporous, for example Lycopodium, and all spiked mosses are heterosporous, for example Selaginella. Now let's talk about the phylum Pterophyta. Most of the sporophytes have rhizome, an underground stem. At the tip of the rhizome, they produce leaves called fronds. All species are homosporous, which develop into a bisexual gametophyte. Sporophytes are dominant. An example of Pterophyta is Nephelpis. Statement 1 is applicable for both phylum, so it's wrong. Statement 2 is applicable for Lycophyta, so it's correct. Statement 3 is applicable for Pterophyta, so that is wrong. Statement 4 also applicable for Pterophyta only, so that is also wrong. And statement 5 is applicable for both phylum, so that is also wrong. So the correct answer is second one.